Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 12.0 Café Scientifique. And today's theme is the information systems and the future of travel with Mr. Josip from Booking.com. So, welcome everyone, and thank you very much for everyone to be here. Thank you for coming and for accepting my invitation. And let's start having a little bit of discussions. And tell me a little bit about your job at Booking.com, make a little presentation so we know a little bit more about you, okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, thank you for having me here. I'm Josip, originally from Croatia, and I work as a GIS specialist at Booking.com. I've spent over 5 years now at Booking, and I didn't start off as a GIS specialist. I started that position when I moved to Berlin about 3 years ago. Before, I did mostly content management at Booking, but then switched to actually something that I fully studied and got the GIS specialist position. Remind me again, after I introduce myself, what should I present Booking, what we do and what we do?
What do you do? How is your everyday life at Booking.com?
Yeah, okay. So we work in so many offices, I don't know the exact numbers, across all over the world. Yeah. And even before the pandemic, we worked a bit in a hybrid way. And by that I mean we were collaborating with people that weren't located in the same office we were. So my work in Berlin involved working with people located in Amsterdam, in New York, in Singapore, Tokyo, basically every part of the world. And the pandemic, it wasn't that big of a change for us working remotely. We switched to more a home office versus working in an office, but still we kept on working and collaborating with everyone basically everywhere around the world.
Yeah. And are all of them from informational systems, geographic informational systems?
Well, my team, yes. Okay. We collaborate with other teams as well, but my team mostly, and I mean, by my team, I mean the people that work with me in our team. We are mostly GIS specialists. We have a few project managers. We have our team lead. We have our manager that manages the whole solution, so geographical information that we provide as a service. We have a few developers working with us as well, but mostly it's us GIS specialists.
Okay, perfect. Do you like it?
I do, of course. I wouldn't have stayed as long as I did if I didn't like it.
Perfect,
definitely.
Perfect, that's the right answer. And the challenges you face today there, about especially in geographic information systems and Booking.com related to this topic. What are the challenges you're facing there today?
Well, there are a lot of challenges that not just we at Booking face. I would say basically anyone working with GIS information would have similar challenges to us. One of the challenges that I see is the variability of data in different parts of the world. So by this I mean it's easier to find more detailed information for some parts of the world, some countries, some regions, some cities, versus other parts of the world. For instance, it's a lot easier to find let's say information about opening times of restaurants in Croatia, where I'm from, than it is for the same type of information in, let's say, the south of Japan.
Okay, okay.
This might not be true. I'm just using this as a random example.
Okay, it's a hypothetical
yes.
situation. And let's go a little bit back. Let's try to explain our crowd what is actually geographic information systems, right? So then we go back to this example because this is quite interesting information we're giving to us, how we have so much data in one hand and so lack of data in another hand.
Well, it would depend on the person asking what could be considered geographic information, and from what I know, there is no clear definition, but the definition we would stick to is any information you can tie to a certain location on the planet. So any information that is related to, for instance, this address where so here we're having Café Scientifique. What information can we have around this information? We can have the address, we can have the geographic coordinates, we can have also what postcode this falls into, what country this falls into, and so many different other pieces of information that could be connected just by that location.
And what do you mean when you say some places or some zip codes, let's say, or some tags, you have more information and we have less information? Which kind of information we are talking about?
So for some information is very, let's say, easy to get or to aggregate. So it's easy to say in what country something is. It should be relatively easy. We know what the borders of a certain country are, so it's easier to get that type of information versus, let's say, what opening hours a certain place might have. Because that information is very variable. That information changes from time to time. We might have a holiday, we might have the business closing or changing locations even. And so that type of information that changes relatively quickly or is dependent on a lot of other factors is hard to get and hard to keep just because of the nature of the information itself.
Okay. And how is the process of this information to get into these systems? Is it Booking.com adding this information? Is it Google or they are inspiring us here right now and they add it? How is it going?
Yes, of course, it's everyone.
Yeah.
But no, in reality, it's a mix of all of the above. So some information, yes, we can edit when we can change ourselves. Even we sourced some information ourselves. But most information is gathered by, let's call them third-party sources that provide different types of information. Google, as you mentioned, could be one of them. So Google has a lot of information. I think most of us are familiar with Google Maps. So there you have, I don't know how many millions of points and data floating around, but that is a perfect example of geographic information. So you could get information from Google, you could get information from other sources as well. And how they actually source the information is different from Google might do it by surveying. They might have, these are very, let's say, old methods of gathering information. So having people go to actually visit locations, writing down on a piece of paper, so this location has this building, it has so many floors, within the building you have these types of businesses, you have actually even people living there, and all this information can be gathered, stored, and later on digitized, which we use mostly. Before it was all in paper maps.
Which leads me to the next question I have here on my list. How technology changed the way we were doing geographic information systems before than the way we're doing right now?
A lot of information and gathering information is digitized. So it's information that we can gather or aggregate just from, for instance, satellite images. From satellite imagery and the color variations, you can, let's say, estimate relatively easily what type of ground that is. So if you are surveying from very high above, you can gather that, for instance, this part of the world could be more often than not a desert, while this has more vegetation, and by the gradient of the color, you could guess what type of vegetation, keeping in mind what type of climate zone that falls into.
Oh, that's fantastic. I heard, I don't know if this is true, you tell me if this is true or only fake news that we receive on our WhatsApps, right? That we can also track, for example, and getting out of Booking.com, but having this discussion about information systems, that we can track the amount of forests we are burning in the Amazon based on the satellite images as well. So this is actually safer for us, isn't it? Or
Yes,
am I
yes,
something
it is.
that a conclusion that I'm just inventing?
There are actually quite a few humanitarian organizations that are using geographic information and mostly open source data to gather in not just forest fires, but different types of emergency situations. So earthquakes, floods, and all other catastrophes we can unfortunately imagine or witness. How best to use this geographic information, where to direct people, how to know which people could be the most affected and how to help them. From my limited knowledge about this topic, I think OpenStreetMap's community is the most famous one, at least the one I came across that is doing this type of information. So gathering it and making it available for rescue teams to know which areas to visit first, because there they could find the largest amount of people in need of rescue.
Oh, wow, this is brilliant. This is really brilliant. And let's shape a little from this topic to traveling, right? Because if we can use to track forests, we can also use to travel. So how do you connect these two dots? How can we improve the way we travel with Geographic Information System?
Well, we all travel in, let's say, different ways. At least that's how I would say. We all have certain things we want to do when we're traveling, certain things we want to see, experience. Somehow we envisioned our travel. So be it a short business trip, a weekend getaway, or a 7-day relaxing trip on a beach. We have something in our mind, what we want to see, what we want to experience. We maybe not fully comprehend where we want to go or what is available there. And this is where geographic information comes to mind. So if you already have a rough idea, with geographic information, we could help show you. So you're going to, for instance, on a 7-day beach holiday somewhere, I don't know, in Italy. And on that beach trip, you also want to maybe try some local food, or I don't know, learn how to scuba dive, because you expect, okay, I'm at the beach, this is something connected to water, so if it's available, I would like to do that. And with geographic information, you could know, like, okay, close to the town I'm going to stay in, I have so many restaurants around that are serving mostly local food, mostly seafood, this and that. And also I have, not maybe in my town, but in one town over, I have a scuba instructing class that's available to me as a tourist there.
And then, of course, from the consumer point of view, we have this information available for us for free.
Yes.
This is a good side. But what is the bad side of using this information for us or not using them?
Well, for you as a customer, I don't really see a bad side, to be honest.
Okay, good answer.
But okay, I might be biased.
Yeah, I can see that.
Coming from geographic information, I don't see a bad side to it. The bad side, hypothetically, could be if the information you got is incorrect.
Good.
So you would have a bad experience because we showed you you have a scuba instruction class in a town over. But for instance, we got the location incorrect. So you go to the town, you try to find that scuba instruction class, but turns out it's actually in the town you are staying in, not in that town. So you lost a trip basically for nothing. Maybe you saw that town and found that town interesting, but still, it's something that would be our mistake because we showed you incorrect location.
Okay. When you use the word biased, I have a reflection that sometimes we are biased with technology, right? And I was imagining me in Croatia. Let's give this example. It's a hypothetical example that would love to be happening, right? And imagine you're in Croatia and we want to have the local food, the local traditional food from Croatia. And maybe they are not available online because they are from old times, or they are in another moment of life. They are not that connected to the internet.
I'm imagining old restaurant that's been open for, I don't know, the last 50 years. It's run by an old married couple. They don't really know how to use computers. Maybe they have grandchildren that put things online, but because they're relying on grandchildren, yeah, they can't really update things as often as they could. Plus, I'm guessing because in this hypothetical situation, the grandparents don't really speak English, they speak Croatian. They are relying on the grandchildren's knowledge of English to put the information in English so it's more available to a wider public. So this would be a perfect example of how we are dependent on the information that we show.
Yeah. And let's go on now for booking.com. So if we're traveling, and this is shaping the way we're traveling, the way we are basically already using as users, as consumers, we already know that this is available. We just type here, okay, I'm in Croatia, I don't know anything here, let's go here. And then we can ask for help. And sometimes, this help is in our language, as you said very well. It's not in the local language that you don't know how to talk about. So how is booking.com using this from the company's perspective? Because from the consumer it's quite useful, but how is the company managing it?
So you mean information that's available in different languages?
Not only the languages, but the information systems in general, the whole system, the whole idea. Why Booking.com one moment decide, okay, let's have geographic information systems in our company?
To be honest, how they decided, I don't know, because they decided before or I came to the company.
Okay.
So someone made, my opinion, very wise decision.
Yeah.
But one thing that is very clear to me is that there is a clear need to have geographic information because it helps not just you as the customer, but also the company promote itself and make the customer's full journey easier and more aware. So they know, is this the right location for me, for my stay? Because it's, I don't know, close to public transport, it's close to the beach, it's wherever I need it to be. This information helps the customer. If the customer is satisfied, the customer will probably come back, at least we hope.
Yes, and that's the point that Booking.com comes in. Because of course, if I'm searching this information, if I'm booking on Booking.com, I come back here, right? That's the idea. And how do you manage this geolocated data? Because one of the challenges today is that the amount of data is enormous, is huge.
Yes.
So how do you manage this?
Well, I won't say it's easy because it's not.
That's why we're here to listen, right?
Yeah.
We're not here to listen to the good ones.
It's definitely not
the
easy.
challenges.
It's definitely not easy. That's why we have a full team that we try to manage all of this data. We try, but as we were talking about examples of how we actually rely on the quality of the data, the way that we are helped to manage this data is by establishing different types of feedback loops. So we really rely sometimes on you, the customers, our hoteliers, our other colleagues from other teams to help us manage this data. So we establish several types of feedback loops. So if, for instance, a colleague spots that a certain museum changed its name, so it's not history museum anymore, it's an ethnographic history museum from this day on. They inform us, so we have this data that we're showing on our website, but it changed its name. Now it's called something different. Or they changed their location. They moved from one building to another. They inform us. As soon as we receive the information, we try to update it so the final customer, so you that are looking at Booking.com on pages will get the accurate information, the correct name, or the correct location.
Okay. So name, location, and which other information do you have from us? Or from the places?
From the places.
I'm trying to get this answer, you see, right? Which other information?
Well, mostly it's name and location for now.
Okay.
It's actually quite hard to get more information about that. For some information, we do know what address that is. Mm-hmm. So if it's located in, I don't know, this or that street, mm-hmm. that type of information. Also, we know what type of thing it is, what type of geographical element that represents. So whether it's a beach or a museum. Okay. We try to distinguish the two, for instance.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be interesting to show a museum to a person that's looking for a beach.
Okay.
They might want to visit that, but it's not the primary thing they're looking for.
Okay. And as a researcher, I also look to data from a very different perspective. We are always interested how to get the data, but now also how to analyze the data, how to make interpretations of the data. So how is this job for you? Which kind of interesting stories you have for us in terms of interpretations of data? Well,
interpreting data, it could lead to so many interesting things. What I'm trying to think of is how to best describe a certain place. So, keeping in mind we're focusing on tourism. So, what would be interesting beach holidays for you as a customer?
Oh God. You see?
Follow
Follow this guy for the best tips for the next holidays.
Yeah. Are you looking for, I don't know, a beach holiday that's perfect in January? Mm-hmm. Well, you can try looking for beach holidays in January in Europe, but chances are you won't find what you're actually looking for, because in Europe in January it's winter. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's better to go somewhere in the southern hemisphere to find something that's more relevant to you. So this is where geographic information helps you.
Okay.
So if you're searching for a beach holiday, you want to go in a certain time frame, then we can help you find which locations actually have what you're looking for. So something where you can actually go swimming on the beach in the time frame that you're looking for. It might be far to get there, but if you're looking for...
That's the thing. I think, at least for the travel lovers that are watching us, or the ones that love to travel, this is the key information we would love that Booking.com share with us. Because we will be the first ones, right? Or we go for these beaches, and today we have the adventure of over-tourism, so we could avoid these moments that these beaches are completely full, completely overcrowded, especially in the hot spots, right?
Yes.
And this is fantastic. And how do you gather this information? How it stays there?
Well, we use different types of sources. Some information we gathered ourselves. Some information came from different types of surveys. Other information was actually from third-party companies. We are not the only ones that are interested in beaches. I mean, hopefully we are the ones you would choose, but we're not the only ones.
Yeah, let's continuing this topic, because it's quite interesting. What about the other companies? How do you see this development? You see from very Booking.com perspective, but how interesting things you see from other companies doing?
Well, one thing that I would say would be universal for all travel-related companies is we want the customer to have an easy journey, an enjoyable journey. So how to make it easier for the customer to know what is the right place for them. And how to get there, it's not easy. We're still finding a way how to get there fully. And I believe other companies are doing the same thing. And we might be taking different routes how to get to the same destination. But hopefully we will get there.
Okay. And after this information is there, other people can go. And that's something we are also scared of, right? Because the goods and from tourism, I can say the good side of tourism is that we give access to people. And the bad side of tourism is that we give access to people. And then some places are not ready or they are not organized enough to receive this amount of tourists or to receive this amount of people coming, not necessarily tourists, visitors in general. So do you, or at least Booking.com, try to push this back somehow, or this is actually responsibility from the other sources?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, it's not something that I or my team deal with. Maybe someone else in the company does. I'm guessing they have more information whether we are responsible or someone else is responsible, but to be honest, I don't know that.
Okay. Yeah, but because the point, at some point, I believe if some hotspots, for example, the best beach, let's think Copacabana, let's think about the beaches, we already know the names and we know everybody will be there. People after having a bad experience, and you talk about feedback loop, right? They will go for these also platforms and describe this experience there at the same time, right? Is feedback loop this idea? Is this the idea of feedback loop?
No, the feedback, this is a type of feedback loop, but it's not the one I was referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Our feedback loop is basically to correct the information that is already available.
Okay.
So it's, as I mentioned before, or if a location changed its position. So from one building to another, different part of the city, if it closed down. So we had a lot of things closing down during the pandemic, unfortunately, and we needed to update that information. We don't really want to show something that doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. So then it's not the consumers uploading this information. You as Booking.com is using this, and this is the feedback.
I mean, reviews, yes, it's the consumers who are writing the reviews, and they are perfectly right to have their opinion of a certain place. If a beach is overcrowded, in their opinion, it's overcrowded. I won't disagree.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah,
and
it's not for me to decide if the beach is overcrowded or not. It's for me to actually make sure the beach is named how it's actually named and it's located where it's located.
Okay. So if to check the real information that is available is the true one, the real one, basically. Okay. And is this related to the quality or the management of quality that you have on the feedback loop? I'm asking this question because one activity is to gather or to get this information. Another one is to upload them because imagine it's getting big data, right? And then is not to put this information there only. We need to continue refreshing this all the time.
The feedback loop is basically there to help us to manage the information that's already available. Some information we need to take down, some we need to just update, and others we need to keep re-adding because not just people close down, I don't know, museums, cafes, whatever. They also are opening new cafes, new museums, and stuff like that. So, if a new attraction opens up in the city, yeah, we want to provide that information to our guests as well.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very nice. And what are the markets that you consider they are more mature in terms of information and the less immature about information?
Well, I would say it's hard to define mature, what you would mean. It means a bit different things to different people. But I would say information-wise, so where we can get the most information, and it's mostly the, let's say, older developed parts where tourism first started off and currently is in a different phase. So if we are looking at more, as I've heard being said, developing tourism or the new hotspots or hidden gems as the word became popular, for those hidden gems, it's harder to get the information because they're new and they're, as the name suggests, hidden.
That's the whole point of not having this information.
Yeah, it's easier to know, for instance, information about Paris, about the Eiffel Tower, because it's a relatively known and old tourist destination. But if it's a new island that's just become popular in, I don't know, somewhere in Indonesia, one tiny island, it has beautiful beaches, for instance. I'm not thinking of a concrete example. I'm just
especially Thailand.
Yeah. Oh, and it's a hidden gem, but someone discovered it and posted it on social media, and all of a sudden there's great interest. So, because there's great interest, we would want to have information about that as well. But it's hard to get that information because it's not just us that doesn't have it. It's a lot of other people that don't have it. So whoever gets that information, we would want that shared later on.
Okay. And now we have like some global issues happening. And this just came to me right now, because if we are traveling, everything we expect to be normal, for example, had COVID-19, and then we are talking about quality of data. So how these moments of COVID-19 shape the job you do? So like, what were the challenges in these specific moments that are happening?
Well, I must admit it was challenging in a lot of situations because different countries and different parts of countries had different types of regulations. How we used geographic information to help in this instance is we helped identify basically areas or properties on booking.com that would be affected by this type of regulation. So if a certain hotel, for some reason, because of COVID restrictions, needed to close down for, I don't know, several weeks, sometimes the hotels, they're not aware, okay, do I fall in this category or do I fall outside of this category? We were helping basically our other teams within booking.com get in touch with these partners and let them know, okay, hey, so from our analysis, you are located in a location that just got new regulations and should be closed down for X amount of weeks because of COVID restrictions. This is how we helped. Or you are located in a hotel location where your local government or your national government, whoever decided the COVID rules, suggests you follow these sets of rules.
Okay. And then do you see the job got, I mean, I can see that it got more challenging, but it was continuing possible to develop it, or it was not limited, or do you have like more homework now that COVID is back, or still in the same amount?
Well, just having gone through the experience of COVID and these different types of challenges, from my experience, we didn't have these types of challenges before COVID. But having gone through that type of experience and gaining knowledge from having to do such work and having to basically gain new knowledge about different types of analyses to get that information, it prepared us in a way for different COVID rules that might be coming on, or different other rules that might be coming on. If a certain government changes some rule related to tourism, we are more equipped and hopefully faster to implement those rules as well.
Yeah, we can be faster today, right? Very good, very interesting. And I left this 20 last minutes we have. I know we want to talk more, but we need to open the questions for our students.
Gladly.
Can we? Don't be shy, okay? It's open. Here we have 3 questions. 4 there. Oh my God, this is good. This is engaging.
Hi, over here.
Hello.
I would like to know, I already saw your LinkedIn, so I know you have a bachelor and a master's in geography. So were you aware of this new role as a GIS specialist when you were doing your bachelor? Did you imagine that you specifically wanted to be in the tourism and travel industry, or did that shifted through time?
Well, it definitely shifted through time. When I was doing my bachelor's, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do still. I had an idea, but I didn't know what positions were available for me. But I chose my master's that had more to do with heritage and tourism, and that helped me realize, like, okay, I really like tourism, and I would like to be involved in tourism as an industry, but I didn't know exactly where I would fit in the whole industry. I tried, my first few jobs were related to tourism. Well, first not, but afterwards were related to tourism. But working different jobs actually helped me realize what I wanted to do and where I wanted to come back to. So when I first started at Booking.com, I wanted to work there because it was tourism. But at the time when I was joining, first, a GIS position didn't exist at Booking.com. And afterwards, when the position was open, I wasn't really sure, like, do I really want to go back to something I studied because I currently liked the position I had? But within time, within thinking about it, I realized, okay, actually, I want to go back to what I studied, and it's still tourism. It's just connecting more of my pre-existing knowledge to the company I already work for. So I switched positions within the company.
And what will you say are specific roles that are from your bachelor's and master's of geography that you're applying in your current job?
Okay.
How long did you finish your bachelor's?
It's been a while. I finished in,
I don't want to ask your age, but it's like, oh my God, if somebody asks about my bachelor's, I need to think, you know?
Wait, I need to think. How many years?
How many years ago?
Yeah, it's been, let's say, over 5 years. But a lot of things, so basically any and all subjects related to GIS, I currently use a lot. Because it was over 5 years and a bit more when I actually had GIS courses, some of the technology and the programs, they got better in the meantime, so some of the options are a lot more automated than they were back then. But other things that I really did like, I'm trying to translate the course name to English now because I attended all the courses in Croatian, so I might butcher the translation a bit, but the course is basically to do about designating and realizing how a tourist destination develops and why it develops in a certain area. Mm-hmm. So this type of knowledge helps, especially now that we mentioned these hidden gems and getting information for areas that would be considered hidden gems. Having this knowledge, how in the past certain areas developed as touristic destination, what were the factors that made them, let's say, be popular as a tourist destination? And was it the availability of accommodation? Was it the ease of transport? Was it the proximity to immigration center point, a country that has a lot of people wanting to go and travel? What were these factors, and how were certain destinations more popular versus others?
Yes,
Does this help?
Thank you. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for your question. Next one, please. Here.
So I'm Adarsh. Thank you for coming here. I'm not into IT industry or GI industry. I'm into tourism, hospitality, and event management. But I had a question. It is very interesting to know about GI. And so what is the future of GI we seeing here? Like maybe in this, we get to know in this building, these people speaks these languages. So what is the future we are seeing here?
Oh, philosophical question.
Yes, interesting question,
Good
but
luck.
yeah. So I can't say overall what the future is going to be. I can say what I think currently the future could be. But it would be basically us being more aware of our surroundings. So geographic information can develop in so many different ways. It can be, for instance, you just, I don't know, being lost in, for instance, your own city, or you move to Berlin and you're new to the city, you don't know the city, so you're relying a lot on different types of apps that will navigate you around. And how these apps are going to help you, this is where you use GIS. So you're lost, you turn on, for instance, Google Maps, and you want to find the closest, I don't know, clothing shop around you. So you have your GPS on, but something's not working, so you need to recalibrate. So you turn on Google Maps, it says, I don't know, the weather is cloudy, it doesn't have access to a certain satellites, maybe the internet connection is bad. How do you find where you are actually? You turn on the camera, maybe from the information you downloaded, the map for the city you're already in. The camera helps with street view images that you have, so it can easily locate or approximate where your location could be, and then give you the route which you need to take to the, I don't know, closest clothing shop you wanted. So this is one of the examples I have. So navigating in foreign place.
Thank you so much.
I want to give a very big thanks for that rich package of information. It was very interesting. Thank you for coming. I have a few questions about your job. How much people you have on your team, and what kind of work they are doing?
So as I mentioned, most of my team is other GIS specialists. Okay, I need to count them out.
Take your time.
Count them out. We do have a few people on maternity leave, so not all of the people are working at this moment, but we do have five GIS specialists. We have 2 developers, we have 2 analysts, 1 data engineer, we have our team lead, and we have our solutions manager, and project manager as well. I think I covered all of them, but I might have missed a few people. Sorry if you're watching.
They are
sorry.
watching us. They are watching us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, thank you for coming. That was very interesting to listen to you. And I have a question about booking.com. How actually it's making money? It's about advertise or some hotels and other thing or other way to raising money there?
Well, I'm not in that part of the company, so I don't know the full aspects, because I think it's probably not that easy to know in where booking.com makes its money in which part. But from what I know, it's basically not really, maybe it's advertising, but I don't know if I would call it. It's commissions. So for people to advertise on Booking, they pay a certain type of commission. How much it is, I don't really know. But I think that's the major way.
Okay, thanks a lot.
No problem.
Yeah. Any other questions here? Please. Thank you for your question. And tell us your name first.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. Again, nice for having you here. And my name is Brian, and I'm a business student. So my question would be based more on like statistics. So during the COVID times, like between the COVID times, you guys had like most of the housing companies had a very huge advantage of like accommodating students and dealing with the lockdown basically. So how did COVID basically like help you guys to grow? Because I know like Airbnb had a 73% growth rate, and they made a lot of money basically within those years. So I want to see how you guys like coped with this situation.
Unfortunately, I don't know. That's not my part of the company, so To be honest, I don't know if we grew or not. Probably I heard it on some company information and announcement, but as I don't deal with that type of information, unfortunately, I can't give you that answer.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much.
But it's important for you, not only you, but for you all to realize, and maybe you can explain better again, is because he's a geographic guy working in Booking.com. So maybe it's a bit far from his reality or from his everyday life, these business questions, because he's gathering information that is available for them, for the users. So the business mindset or the business
I realize it might be confusing coming from Booking.com. The first thing that you, as people that saw Booking.com as a website, would think of is people working with hotels and people who are trying to advertise and sell a hotel to you. The company is quite big, and we have so many different departments spread all around the world. Most of the colleagues are actually doing that type of job, but I'm one of the few that's doing a different type of job. So maybe next time someone else will come from Booking and
business,
help you
right?
answer those types of questions, but unfortunately, I don't know those answers.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Another question? Here? No one? Don't be afraid. No? And about the future? And there? Are you again? Again.
Yeah, me again, Laura.
No
Nice meeting you.
worries.
Thank you for your answers. In your current job, your role, how will you feel, how could it be improved? How can you improve? How will you feel it needs to improve in certain areas to actually give a better service to the consumers? You as, I imagine you like at some point to travel. What things would you say needs to be done from your point of view, from your job, to improve the company and the consumer?
Very good question. So to improve the consumer experience, I believe Booking, and not just Booking, but other companies as well, when it comes to geographic information, we don't know what you actually want to see, what you want to experience. So we need to become better at basically guessing what you want and making it more easy for you to tell us, like, I'm looking for this. For now, from both sides, we are trying to do that, but we don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So making it easier basically for you to decide and for us to tell you, like, okay, if you're looking for this, we want to make it easier for you to find those places, the things that you're looking for, and how to actually get there. So if you want to go, for instance, you want to travel from Berlin and you want to go surfing in Australia somewhere. Hypothetical example. So for now, you would need to find in one place your hotel where you want to stay in Australia, how to decide on a certain hotel. You would want to find also airplane tickets from Berlin to all the way to Australia, how to get there. Maybe there from the airport you need to take some public transport or a taxi. So all of these different types of steps, that requires some extra research, extra knowledge that both you and Booking need to provide. So making all of this process, so going from basically your house to your hotel room, all of this road, how to simplify this. This is the thing that I believe we need to work on and find a way to make it simple and easy and enjoyable for everyone. Some parts, I believe, currently are a bit stressful.
Which ones? Tell us more.
I don't know for you, but for me, like knowing, like, okay, if I have that flight, do I need to wake up earlier, take a taxi, or will I arrive there by public transport or on time? What would be the better, the more cost-effective option for me? This is, for instance, a stress point for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's for you or for anyone else. But to further give more examples about how my position and how I can better myself to do that, and what, in general, anyone else that's interested in GIS could do. Different types of programming languages and programming skills are becoming, and currently are, more closely associated to GIS. So learning to code, learning Python, learning a bit of SQL, all of these skills can help you. And you can use this later on to answer this big question that we have in this whole thing. Hopefully this helped get you an answer.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your question. Any other question? All right. You like it? Very good. Now I have a question for you. Taking a lot from what she asked for you as well. Tips for our students. Which kind of advices would give to them as a student? What kind of suggestions you give to them in case they want to work with this?
So one thing that I didn't know joining Booking, but I was very, very pleased when I joined, is that Booking has this learning culture within the company. So we are actually encouraged to improve ourselves, our skills, our knowledge within the company. So to take different types of courses, to learn different types of skills, to test out new things, be it on the job, be it for ourselves. This is one thing that I took from my university days, and I hope you will as well. Never stop learning, never stop changing, never stop exploring. So if you have a slight interest for something, try it out, test it out. I don't know, if you don't know where to start, look up a YouTube video about it, at least.
Talk to your teachers about it, right?
Talk to your teachers about it, definitely.
And yeah,
that's actually a great tip, because they might already have a bit of knowledge around that and can guide you what books to read.
Next step.
Yeah.
And very good, very good. Do you like traveling?
Of course I do, of course I do.
Right? Thank you very much for participating.
Thank you.
Last questions. Everything all right? Can we do? So thank you everyone for coming today. Thank you for your presence, for being here. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the team that supported me for the first time to be here. Thank you for coming, for your time, for your attention. And I can, with the bottom of my heart, cannot say thank you also for Mina to bring all your students. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone. See you next time. Next month we're here again, okay? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.